now a Hoover Institution senior fellow. And sir, thank you for all you did in fighting COVID and helping the president. How are you tonight?
Doing well. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Number one, I'd like to get your take on this whole issue of double masking. It's received some attention, some conflicting guidance. Dr. Fauci says the CDC may soon recommend all Americans wear 2 masks to enhance their protection against the coronavirus. How do you feel about double masking?
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if the CDC recommended that. They've been all over the place on a lot of their recommendations. That's fine. I'm for people doing anything it takes to allow them to function in society. If you don't want to go out without a mask, wear a mask. If you want to wear 3 masks, wear 3 masks. If you don't want to go into a restaurant or on an airplane ever again, that's okay. But we need to open up society and do it so that people can function, because these restrictions and lockdowns are destroying people, not just economically, but their health. So, we really need to get the country back open. And, if you really want to look at the data on masks, well, that's a very radioactive issue. I try to point out data, and you get destroyed for doing that because people really don't want to hear the data. They just want to use the word the science, even though they don't know the science or they didn't really read the science. They don't understand the science. And then they speak completely against the science. So nothing will surprise me with masks, but I just want to get the country open.
Same here. And by the way, I know they gave you a hard time. The media did. Some, producer at CNN trying to tell you your business. You've held top jobs in medicine at places like Stanford University, and you've operated at the very highest levels of this field. And you got the fake news telling you how it's done. I personally was shocked by that. How do you feel after your experience in Washington?
Well, I'm glad I'm not in Washington, I could tell you that. Washington and the news, I wouldn't say it's fake. I would say there's a bunch of vicious liars in the news. That's sad. The country, the media really is a disaster in many ways. And they say vicious, complete lies, and then they keep repeating them. And then those lies are taken as fact. And, it's sad. I was naive. I went to Washington because the president asked me to help in the biggest crisis in a century. I'm a health policy expert. I was asked to help in healthcare policy because there was no one on the task force in healthcare policy, frankly. But I was asked to be an advisor to the president to help the country. I would have helped if President Obama would have asked me, if President Biden would have asked me, if President Clinton would have asked me. That wasn't the issue. I didn't realize that everyone there was political, was out for either political motives or preserving their own image and their own influence. It's a despicable kind of place, but I think we all know that. It's very sad. If I would have known that, I'm not sure what I would have done when I was asked.
I'm sorry you had that experience. It doesn't surprise me. I've heard that from a lot of people who tried to do the right thing by the country in federal service. And wow, it can set people a step back. But I think you did a lot of good there. And to hear you talk like that, well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. Dr. Birx, I'm neutral on her, but she went on a Sunday show a little while back to set the record straight. She was apparently frustrated that the president was receiving multiple streams of information. I want to play this for you.
It took a while after I arrived in the White House to remove all of the ancillary data that was coming in. I mean, there was parallel data streams coming into the White House that were not transparently utilized. And to this day, until the day I left, I'm convinced there were parallel data streams because
disinformation.
I saw the president presenting graphs that I never made. So I know that someone out there or someone inside was creating a parallel set of data and graphics that were shown to the president.
To me, Dr. Atlas, Dr. Birx is speaking not like a doctor, but more like a bureaucrat. I mean, who cares if the president is getting more information? I think the more the better. Your reaction to what you just heard?
Well, I was stunned when I heard that, because anyone who's offended that the president of the United States is receiving information from advisors other than one single person, anyone who's offended by that has a serious problem understanding her role. This is sort of stunning to me that people should be personally threatened because other people are providing information. The president takes advice and took advice. I saw it myself from people inside the task force, outside the task force, inside the White House, inside other parts of the administration, as well as some of the world's best epidemiologists and medical scientists who had nothing to do with being in the administration. They came into the Oval Office. Thank God he took advice from multiple different sources instead of just one. And, I think it would be frightening if the president rejected or never saw information from multiple sources. The American people should be thrilled that he got information from other sources. And anyone who's personally threatened by that has really ought to look in the mirror and re-examining her role there. Secondly, I think what was important about that interview was it was really outrageous to imply or say that I ever fed the President of the United States false, misleading, or non-scientific information. That is an outrageous, vicious lie. And apparently someone was so threatened that she thought the best way to make herself look good is to try to tear other people down. Where I come from at Hoover Institution, you walk into a room, there's a lot of smart people with a lot of knowledge. You better know what you're talking about. The way to win the case is to know more, to read more, to understand what's going on, not to tear other people down.
Dr. Scott Atlas, thank you for your contributions to the country. Thank you for coming on Newsmax. We'd love to have you back soon.